And we are back, and we just finished watching 2023's The Iron Claw, rated R with a runtime of 2 hours and 12 minutes. This is currently streaming on HBO Max. It is the story of the infamous Von Erich's wrestling family dynasty from, I guess, the 80s that was presumed curse, and I feel like rightly so. I mean, I don't know another family that has befallen this much tragedy.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like an Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yeah, it doesn't stop.
Of six brothers, 5 die.
3 by suicide.
Although
I think
in such
rapid succession,
rapid succession, and this story, they actually eliminated one of the brothers from the story entirely because from what I heard, it was just like, okay,
it's too much.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
But no, the real story is even more tragic than what you see in this movie.
And I think in my brief Google search, they said that even though David's death was reported as one thing, they were thinking that he maybe OD'd.
Who knows? That's another aspect of that world, especially back then. I mean, you know me, I'm a huge fan of pro wrestling.
Yes.
So I know about the history and how things, especially how things used to be when it was just absolutely crazy and unregulated. These guys,
taking
you
horse
hear
tranquilizers.
you hear like all this, it's fake, it's made up. No, the only thing about pro wrestling that's fake is the outcome, like 95% of the time, because sometimes the outcome will change based on what happens in that ring.
Sure.
Whether it's because people are reacting in a way that they didn't expect and they have to like call an audible and change it, or sometimes bad stuff happens.
Right.
Like I have seen people's legs snap in half. Oof. And shoulders pop out of sockets and things like that, where they have to just be like, okay, you're going to be the champ. I know you weren't expecting this, but yeah.
Well, obviously someone could have died, but one of my favorite stories that you've told me is Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, and he's like, God damn it.
Oh my God. Yeah. Good
I
Lord,
just need some time off for surgery, and this mofo's gonna fuck things up for me.
Kurt Angle is just mangled. He's dying to just take time off and get surgery, and he's in a match with Brock Lesnar, and they want something spectacular for WrestleMania, and he jumps off that top rope, does a shooting star press, and lands directly on the top of his head by accident. That was unintentional.
Neck Brock Lesnar.
And then the last 3 minutes of that match, you could see Brock Lesnar's not there. He is completely bleary-eyed, incoherent, and pretty much Kurt Angle is telling him exactly what to do, and he is on autopilot.
Wow.
That a human body could just do that. He's like, pick me up, spin me around. But
I mean, it's just
but what I was saying is these people are legit hurting each other. Yeah. And back in the day, they didn't really, it was like, I'm a tough guy. Well, after the show, let's just get hammered. There's a reason they're getting hammered, because they're in freaking agony. So it's like, let's just drink as much booze and snort as much cocaine and take as much crazy ass drugs, horse tranquilizers, whatever we can.
Good
and
gosh.
Just
make it to the next match.
And back then, it was also live the gimmick.
Right.
So if you were a bad guy in the ring, you were a bad guy everywhere. If you were a good guy, you were a good guy everywhere. But regardless of whether you're a good guy or a bad guy, you're a tough guy. So when the town tough guy comes up to you and is like, yeah, wrestling bullshit's fake, you had to slap that dude down. So sometimes these guys were just like, yeah, we're going to spend some time in jail.
Well, so I was a casual, I guess, wrestling watcher in the 80s, and I vaguely remember the name Von Erich. I don't think that it came into my conscious until fairly recently. Vice does a really great series called Dark Side of the Ring, where they dedicated an entire episode to this basically cursed family. I mean,
that term, the curse of the Von Erichs.
Watching this film and watching Kevin just be almost terrified of his legacy. Like, he doesn't even want to touch his wife and child kind of thing. That really resonated with me because obviously this is a dramatization of actual events, but watching the Dark Side of the Ring episode, you see like the old footage. They talk to Kevin. They talk to the guys that wrestled with the Von Erichs and that are still alive. And it was just... It was a lot. I mean, even just hearing about it, like not even living it, I cannot imagine. I mean, we're watching this film, and at the end, I'm looking at you, and I'm like, Christ, the amount of trauma in this man's life is just uneffing real.
And it's not only that, but then you have compounded on top of that the relationship with the father who he didn't get his world championship match. They took that away from him. Right. That's what he keeps saying. They screwed him every way they could, and they took it away from him. But one of you guys is going to bring it into this house. Finally, it will be in this house, the NWA Championship. And just making them compete against each other. You know how the rankings go. Kevin's the favorite.
No, Kerry. Kerry's the favorite, followed by Kevin.
Oh, that's right.
Then
Kerry,
David.
Kevin. Yeah. He had like this whole ranking system.
Then Michael, but he's like, oh, the rankings can change. When he said that, I think I looked at you like, what is he saying? What is going on here?
And then after David died, he's just like, we have the match. We gotta bring the championship home. It's like, your boy just died. You just buried your son.
It meant nothing to him.
And it's like you're cutting a promo for your sons about how you got to bring the championship home.
We got to capitalize on this.
We got to capitalize.
Yeah.
It's
the thing that's going to separate us is that we're going to rise above this adversity.
Yeah.
This adversity. And adversity is getting like a failing grade or like mangling your car.
Yeah.
Not
the basement
burying
flooded
your
or something.
son. Yeah, the basement flood. Yeah. I mean, it was beyond anything. And it's funny because we're like the generation after them, after these kids. They were born in the 60s. We're 70s babies. But a lot of that upbringing, like I understood a lot of that upbringing, but it also made me sad because it was like, here is this toxic man who 100% what you said, just pitted his own children against each other for his love. I mean, there's that scene between Kevin and Kerry where Kerry's already had adversity and has this accident that basically really impacts his career. And Kerry gets frustrated and says to Kevin, like, oh, you want to claim the old man's love. And it's like, do you really want this man's love? Because it's shit as far as I'm concerned.
Is it really love, or is it just, I'm gonna live my life vicariously through you? I
know, but
I don't.
That sequence when they're arguing, when Kevin and Kerry are arguing, and Kerry turns to Kevin and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna shoot my shot because I'm not gonna let you supplant me. I'm not gonna let you have the old man's love." And it's like, what? Like,
no, but that's what I'm saying. It's not really. For them, I guess it was love, but
they didn't know any better.
They didn't know any better, but for him, it's basically just the one who I live through vicariously.
Oh, for Fritz,
yeah, the one who brings that championship to me.
Yeah. He's the favorite.
Exactly. Yeah. He is my surrogate.
Yeah,
and that's not the same thing. You're not really caring for your boys, and especially, oh my God, at the end when he calls up his dad and he's just like, just watch after him, and
then what happens.
He basically says, you guys got to work it out for yourselves,
which is something that the mother had previously said too. Was like, they were both very much on the same page. But then at the end, when she's painting, do you think she gets away from Fritz? In a way, she's like, "Oh, I didn't make dinner. I'm not hungry." She didn't even acknowledge him.
Yeah, I think.
Like, how many times can you bury a son?
Exactly.
Before
how much damage can be done mentally before it's like your way of doing things is just not completely the way.
So I wonder, because I didn't get a sense that any of the other boys had relationships. It felt like Kevin sort of dodged a bullet because of Pam. Having Pam in his life was so integral to him, because I think he understood. I think when they were first dating, you could see his awkwardness.
Oh, absolutely.
Because all he talks about is his brothers, because this is the world that he's lived very insularly, and this is the world that he knows. But once Pam becomes a part of his world, it definitely changes the dynamic, because you now have someone in your corner that's rooting for you. Maybe you don't always get along. I think there were times where she was frustrated with him, but at the end of the day, her marriage vows meant something to her, and she stuck by her man.
Yeah.
You know, and he was so broken that he needed somebody like that to kind of like.
And the thing that's nice is that you see him come to that realization, because there's a spell where he is so paralyzed with fear from this whole thing.
Yeah.
Just first David, then Michael, Kerry's accident.
Yeah.
Disappointment after disappointment as far as his career went.
Right.
And just the father.
Just an ass.
Yeah.
Just a complete ass.
And he realizes that I'm not going to get this sort of thing that he dreamt, like when she's like, what do you want? And he's just like, I want to be with my family.
Yeah.
He's not going to get that there.
Right.
His family is her
now,
and
the boys.
The son, and that's what he needs. It's
Right.
not everybody living on that farm with the dad and the mom and his brothers who really aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, even at that point, Kerry was gone because he had
moved to WWF.
Moved to WWF and was seeking his career out there.
Right.
So,
and also, the father was a dick, because you come to realize that he also absconded money, obviously.
Yeah. He never paid. He
boys,
basically used the money to
enrich himself.
support the family.
Yeah.
So he was cooking the books.
Yeah. Well played by that actor. I'm still.
Yeah. What's his name? Holt
McCallany or something.
McCallany. I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever. Sorry if we butchered your name, but
Sorry.
whover you are, you did a great job.
He's like a character actor I've seen in tons of stuff.
Too,
this is probably the most meaty role that I've seen that guy in.
Yeah.
He nailed it.
Killed it. Yeah. He killed it. I hate him.
I hated him. Yeah, but the thing was, he played it mean, but there were like moments of tenderness with the guy, and
yeah, but it felt so phony.
No. Like when he was with at the wedding with him and his wife. There's like that brief moment, you know.
Right.
He seems like it's like, oh, he can be a human. He can have moments of humanity, but he is just seriously obsessed with this idea of legacy and the name and the family and bringing that belt into this house.
Yeah. So I also want to say, I really, really, as heartbreaking as this film was, I really enjoyed this. I think the performances were just sublime. Zac Efron, wow. It's funny. You think of him as like little High School Musical Disney kid, but he's really come into his own, and he really, I mean, he's not like Timothée Chalamet caliber, but he's also done interesting stuff. Like he does comedies, he does, I guess, romantic parts, Greatest Showman, singing and dancing. This, which is very dramatic. He is an interesting young actor. I really enjoy him. He is the heart and soul of this film. This film is told through Kevin's viewpoint as the only surviving Von Erich brother. And just really, really well done. There's this quiet desperation in his performance that's just bleeds through the entire film. And that scene towards the end with his sons when they're little, just... wow, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I'm really, and I encourage people to watch this. Absolutely. You don't have to be a fan of wrestling. This is a family drama at its core. It is the heartbreaking true tale of a family's traumatic tragedy that seems to repeat itself over and over and over again. Yeah. Brilliantly done by all the players here. Jeremy Allen White as Kerry. Also, just a bang-up job. Wow. Harris Derrickson, who we'd seen in that, Murder at the End of the World? movie or mini series, whatever. He was also great as David Harris Dickinson. Sorry, and what was the other? Mike was played by Stanley Simons. Just really, really, really well done. I think I turned to you at one point, and I was like, I think the thing that really comes through in the film is this just genuine love and affection that the brothers have for each other.
Oh, absolutely.
In every
you could
frame.
see when, like with the mom, there's respect. The dad, respect
Fear.
and deference and fear.
Yeah.
But when you see them
with each other, you see them as their true selves.
They are happy. The bit where they sneak Mike out of the house so he could do the show, that was perfect.
Yeah.
That was just
them
the
line
brothers
dancing
being
together at the wedding
line
was lovely.
wedding.
Loved that too.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Excellent chemistry as far as being brothers goes.
Yeah. Just really well done. And again, I please don't think of this as a sports film. This is not a sports film.
No. There's very little in-ring action. It's just
enough for you to get a taste of it. It's just enough
to get a taste of it. Yeah, even on the matches where like they show like the marquee, it's the Von Erichs versus the Freebirds or Kevin versus Ric Flair. It's not the focal point. In fact, they cut away from a lot of it, and I think for Kerry's match where he wins the big belt, all you see is him going out to the ring.
Yeah, they don't show
the match at all because that's not really what it's about.
Right. And thank you for bringing up Ric Flair. Terrible. Terrible.
No, I agree with not the best.
Holy cow.
Ric Flair impersonation.
God damn. Who cast that guy? Was he like a friend of the production? I was like, this was my only like negative note about this film.
You're not a big wrestling fan, and even
I was like, that's no Ric Flair.
That's no Ric Flair. Everybody knows who Ric Flair is.
He didn't sound like that. This guy sounded like he was Italian or something. I was like, what?
Yeah, he just wasn't. He wasn't manic enough. Like his eyes weren't bugged out enough when he was cutting that promo.
Yeah, but he didn't sound like Ric Flair.
No, Ric Flair. He always I don't know. It's like his throat's congested at all times.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That was my only negative about this film. But other than that, just spot on, really well done. As a companion piece, if you can find the episode of the tragedy of Von Erichs on Dark Side of the Ring that ran on Vice, absolutely check that out. Yeah. That is first-hand account.
That gets you all the real
and they interview the real Kevin.
They interview everybody. They interview the people involved with it. And that's probably more sad than this movie.
Because it's Kevin talking about.
It's Kevin talking about it, and you see that he's definitely in a better place.
Yeah,
I mean, even at the end of this movie, they show like how his family is, and
he got his dream. He got his dream of having his kids and his grandkids live with them on a big farm. Yeah. He's got a massive family, which God bless him. Yeah. It's gotta be a balm for all the hurt. Oh yeah, to come away from that, you definitely gotta. Yeah, I mean, how this young man just didn't put a bullet in his own head is a testament to his strength. I think like what you were saying. I think is Pam true. Helped. Yeah, the fact that he had kids. Yeah, none of the other. I mean, well, we read that David had a child, but unfortunately, also the child died. Yeah. Jeez, it's just what a fucking dark cloud. Tragedy. This was a heavy watch. I mean, I expected it because of the Dark Side of the Ring episode. Like I knew what we were getting into, but to see it again played out obviously more emotionally. Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, I feel like this movie is going to stay with me for a while. And I think because of the fact that this is based in real life, I'm sure jokes have been made about the curse of the Kennedys, how the Kennedys have also had to deal with a lot of tragedy in their lives. But this is, I mean, not to diminish the other families' tragedies. We're not going to compare. Yeah, this isn't a competition. You Kennedys are lightweight with your tragedies. But, I mean, this was beyond anything. I mean, watching it, again, we'd seen the Dark Side of the Ring episode and we knew what was going to happen, but to even see it play out again and again, it's too much. The scene with the mother-in-law and Pam, right? When she's like, I can't put on that dress again because they'll know that I had that on for the other son's funeral.
Yeah.
Like, does it even matter at that point? You know what? I got to be honest.
I think that was her trauma is finally breaking through, because she was very like, I have my spot. This is my job in this family. Mm-hmm. When he came in, Mike, can you talk to Dad? He's being really hard on Mike. She's like, no. You boys
work it out.
She didn't want anything. And that was like shocking to me, because you'd figure as a parent,
right,
you'd at least be like, yeah, don't worry, I'll talk to Dad and try to get him to lighten up a bit. That was not an option. She knew her role in the family, and that was it. And this scene later on, when she's like talking about the dress, I mean, to even have that come into your mind, you could see how rapid fire this was happening, because it was like, I just wore this dress.
Right.
And now I have to wear it again, and people are going to know.
Right.
That thought should never have even popped into her head, because you don't wear your funeral clothes that frequently.
Or you shouldn't.
You shouldn't. But good Lord.
Yeah, this family went through
this is terrible. This is happening in such a short period of time that you could see why Kevin loses his mind, and at the funeral basically is just like, I can't come home. I can't bring this to you.
Yeah. That was so sad. Like, that really hurt my heart, that scene. And she's like struggling because she's got a baby, and she's just, I guess she's trying to get through vet school or whatever, or through her vet business. And it's a lot. And it's just, I can't imagine. But she's a good woman. She stuck by her man. Mm-hmm. In spite of all that. And I'm glad that he survived and he thrived with his own family.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure a part of him is still very much shattered by that experience. Also, there is a sort of dream sequence towards the end of this. What did you think of that without giving too much away?
I thought it was okay. I didn't know if it was absolutely 100% necessary.
I felt like it was from Kevin's vantage point. Like, he's hoping that...
Maybe that's like he's imagining that's what it's going to be like.
Right. That there's this final kind of peace.
Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, you could sort of see that because especially because of the last thing that Kerry wrote.
Right.
I'm going to walk with my brothers.
Yeah.
Which, good Lord.
Ugh, yeah. 1 to 10. What are you going to give this film?
I'll give this like an 8.
8. I was thinking about giving it a 9, but I think maybe 8.5. 8.5. Your favorite film?
Oh God! Stop that.
8.5. I think it's a strong script, powerful performances. Even the people you don't like Fritz and the mother. To an extent, I didn't like her, but I also felt compassion for her, because it was like, you can't be a stone. There's no way you're a stone here.
Well, I think they did a good job with. Yes, I guess she was like a stone, but then she broke. She broke at the end, and at the very end, you could see it's just like, you don't have that hold over me anymore.
Right.
I'm just going to paint right now.
Yeah.
She was doing what she needed to do for herself.
Right.
And it's funny, he just sat down, and it was just like, all right.
Yeah. I think at his core, he loved her, but he was a bully. He was a bully.
I mean, he domineered that family. And this concept of manliness, I don't want to see, take off those sunglasses. I don't want to see a single tear. I don't want anybody seeing any of you cry.
Right.
Your brother just
died.
Your brother, and especially the way these brothers reacted and how tight they were with each other, what they meant to each other. To say, you can't cry. And he didn't cry until the very end, Kevin.
Right.
Even when he was in, like, alone at home, laying on his side on the bed, and his wife comes in to comfort him, he is just sort of like staring into space. He is not weeping.
Yeah.
And good Lord, if I don't care how manly and macho you are, if there's ever a time to cry,
that's it.
That's it. The death of a close beloved relative.
Yeah.
Or friend or anything like that, you're never going to see them again. They're and not like, oh, she died of old age or she had a great life. No, these people, every single one, taken away.
Yeah.
It's
just violently and young.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Just taken away at a young age.
I think Kerry might have been the oldest at 33. Yeah. I think the one brother, was it Mike? He was like 21. Or Chris, the other one that they don't mention. Well, I guess James Jr. was the youngest.
Yeah, but he was before any of them.
The other ones were born.
They didn't really even know him.
Yeah. What a mess. What a mess. But just expertly done. It really, this movie really, I feel like it's going to stay with me. I think it's beautiful. It's just beyond depressing. But I think at the end, it ends hopefully, I think.
Yeah.
And I think to touch on something that you said about the crying thing, I think the thing that made him cry was seeing his boys playing together as brothers, right? And then when they come over and they're like, hey, Dad, what's wrong? And he's like, I guess I'm just sad because I used to be a brother. And then the boys and what they say to him, which is just so lovely, right? I mean, that innocence of childhood, right? That you know. And also...
And they had a healthy, they had a healthy attitude.
Yeah, everybody cries. Yeah. Everybody cries. Yeah. Like that was such a great thing, and obviously, I'm sure Pam had a hand in that, right? Because Kevin was a good guy, but he was a freaking wreck. Yeah, he didn't have really great role models, and just this compounded trauma, constant trauma in his life. Yeah, just wasn't helpful, I'm sure. I hope he's found peace. I mean, that picture of him and his family is lovely at the end, but geez, to carry the weight of the burden of all that loss, right? Yeah. So again, absolutely go check out 2023's Iron Claw. I'm sad that it didn't get some sort of Oscar nom. I feel like it should have, but oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember them. There was a lot of hope that it would, but it just sort of got overlooked, I feel.
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, I think there were some really stellar performances here. Really stellar. Hats off to Sean Durkin, the writer-director, who really crafted just a lovely, heartbreaking storytelling experience. I'm looking forward to more from this writer-director. And again, hats off to the production. Really well done. It felt like 80s Texas. They got all the stupid haircuts down, and
the haircuts were atrocious. Oh God, yeah. Zac Efron's hair.
Oh God.
And Mike's hair.
Oh, Mike's hair.
Oh, Mike's hair was brutal.
Mike's hair was brutal. Mike's hair was brutal. Yeah. Everybody looked a wreck.
I think was it Jeremy Allen White?
He might have been the only one.
His hair was probably the best. He had,
but it was also very much that.
Oh yeah. He had the hero mullet.
Yes. Yeah.
There was some.
Yeah, even David's hair was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although he kept the cowboy hat on a lot, so that helped. But yeah. Yeah. 8.5. Absolutely do yourself a favor and check out Sean Durkin's beautiful, lovely, and heartbreaking The Iron Claw from 2023, rated R, with a runtime of 2 hours and 12 minutes, currently streaming on Max. You will not be disappointed. And again, I'd love to stress to anybody watching this is a fantastic storytelling experience. You don't have to be a fan of wrestling, and you don't have to know too much about the history of wrestling during this particular time frame. I think the story does a really good job of just world building and making you understand the Von Erichs in this point in time and the events that happened around this time. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this. Run, don't walk, and check out The Iron Claw. And that's it from us, and we will bid you all a
good night.
Good night.